Impressions.
Ooh. Ow. Sour.
Did you break it last night?
No, I only tuned the top 4 strings. I wasn't anticipating me going into a D.
Look what happens when you hit that D.
Ooh, the sour D.
Ew. Nobody wants a sour D.
Daddy's got the sweet D.
Stop.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Raw Impressions. Almost live from Coogee Beach in Sydney, Australia, and
Coming to you yet again, from Greenfield, Massachusetts, Western Mass.
oh,
What?
I discovered a really good way. Now I've been on some a few flights in the last week, and
Yeah.
during the flights, I mean, even the short flight from Melbourne to Sydney, they gave out sandwiches. 1 hour flight, and they gave out sandwiches.
A whole sandwich?
Yeah, a whole sandwich. But
What
I made it.
was the sandwich?
It was like a cheese and ham sandwich. Or no, it was a chicken sandwich. Excuse me. It was a chicken sandwich. But it was cold. It was a cold sandwich. But I made a breakthrough, sort of a discovery on my flight from LA to Australia. I get the cold sandwich, I take the sandwich and tuck it under my bottom, and I warm it up that way.
Does anyone see you do this? Like, are you next to a seatmate and you're like, excuse me, I'm just going to put this sandwich and tuck it underneath my ass, fully wrapped.
Possibly.
And then retrieve it once you feel like it's been sufficiently warmed, and then you
I had
grab it from under your ass and then unwrap it, and your neighbor's like, hey, because I've been on a few flights, and let me tell you, those seatmates are right next to you.
Yes,
They can see everything.
This was the mother of 3 children, and they appeared to have definitely gone to the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh,
And I kind of had the feeling she might have seen me do it, because I did it twice. Because I did it the first time. I tucked the sandwich under there, for the purpose of warming it up. And then I thought, what would be really cool is if I was to capture this, if I was to video this with my phone. So I did it again. And while I was doing that, I had the feeling, and I'm learning that as I get older, I'm learning that these feelings are often true. It wasn't my energy field. And I do think sensing that she saw me doing this was probably correct.
yes.
I had the feeling, I had the sense, I had the extra sensory, like that she had turned and saw me tucking the sandwich, and then saw me removing the sandwich from my crotch. But I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm a guy that...
That's good. That's freedom.
I'm the guy that can go to...
Over 50 and free. Yeah,
exactly. I can go to CVS now. I can purchase Astroglide. I can purchase hemorrhoid medication, wart medication. And what else? I can just... I almost go into CVS now with the purpose...
And some toothpicks.
with the purpose of buying the most embarrassing...
Well, don't forget, you always need to buy a sling. You always have something that needs to be slung. You're like, oh, I've got an aching arm, or oh, my knee is jacked. I need an adult sling or some sort of. Yeah. And you're always coming home. We are like a graveyard of slings in this house. If something is aching, we have it for you, like a knee wrap, like a shoulder. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to throw them out.
Don't you dare.
They're just taking up space.
So is everything.
They're not bringing me joy.
That's medical equipment. You can't just start throwing out medical equipment willy-nilly. There's plenty of other things in the house that can be thrown away.
I threw away a box this week and I felt really kind of like, whoa. It wasn't, when I say box, I don't mean like a cardboard box, like a package that came in the mail. It's
Yeah,
a
whatever.
box that like I bought many years ago when I worked at Paper Source in Pasadena. So this box is like 20 years old. It's kind of like a photo album box or something that you keep like pictures or you store things in or
Hmm.
it but so I'm going through this like studio purge and I just was like, box, I'm done with you. I don't want to
Wow.
move you to another room in this house. I don't want to see you anymore. We're going to have to
Oh,
say goodbye. I could have also donated it, but then I had the honest thought where I was like, this box is actually just, it's too sad. It's not quite, I don't want someone to have to take on this box. So I
I like.
sent it to the Inferno, the Greenfield transfer station, and the
Well,
dump, and it will be burned. I'm guessing. I
it will be taken to Springfield and burned.
Okay,
There's a
Springfield,
spring.
Massachusetts,
Springfield is approximately 40 minutes
45
south,
minutes. Yeah.
45 minutes south of us on the I-91 highway, freeway.
Yep.
And yes, because I asked once at the transfer station in Greenfield, hey,
That's the dump. We call it the
yeah,
transfer station
right.
here.
Hendrix was with me. He was about 9 or 10 at the time. And I thought, hey, let's do kind of a Mr. Rogers thing and go, hey, where does this stuff go? And the guy kind of looked at me and he's like, well, they take it to Springfield and they burn it.
Well, I hope they do something with the energy that comes from the burning of the trash, right? Because isn't that what they're doing at the Minneapolis St. Paul airport? Their trash cans say, "It's okay. Like throw your trash in me because it's going to fuel something. Like it's going to create energy to." They've done something great there with trash at the Minneapolis St. Paul airport.
Well, why, by the looks of the place in
Thank
Springfield,
God.
by the looks of the place in Springfield where they burn it, which is actually next to the Savers, right next to Savers,
Lovely.
and it does
That's a
have,
thrift store.
and it's right on the banks of the mighty Connecticut River, and
Also
it's an,
lovely. Let's just have the
yeah,
Inferno just burning next to the river, next to
the
the
dead
used
river.
clothing store.
The river is literally it has been a dead river. It might be a little more alive now, but it has in the past been totally dead. It's the dead river, but
What do you mean by dead?
there's nothing really in it. Nothing really lives in it. Like you can't do a whole
That's
lot
a
of like,
bold statement. Are you talking about the Connecticut River?
yes,
But you mean
yes.
specifically
In the
near
ninth,
Springfield? Because
yes.
up here, don't people go fishing in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Okay. Well, it was dead.
Oh.
In the 1980s, it was dead. It even made the cover of like Newsweek or Time. It
Oh,
did. It did. And we took that little cruise down the Connecticut, and
I know. There were
it did, it didn't look very alive.
people were happily submerged in the water, like in chairs.
Well,
They had their lawn chair. I mean,
they were
lawn
sitting there
chairs
with
sitting in the water. You know
their
when you can do
American
that?
flags flying.
Just
But
yeah.
okay, well,
Well, that's in
enough
case
about
you
this.
forget where we are, honey.
Enough about this.
I
Enough about
we,
the dead river.
I'm just
Um,
saying that I got rid of the box. It's gone now.
okay, for you to get rid of a box,
I
that's
know.
something. That's
It
something.
is.
It was
Yeah,
probably
you
a deck. It probably looked nice, I assume. Like it maybe
mm,
had some flowers on it, or
no. It was
oh,
black.
it was a black box.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm proud of you. I think
Thanks.
that's a really good way because there will be a purge. When I come home,
Mhm.
the big black garbage bags are coming out.
Yeah.
I'm going into the quote
Our
unquote
office.
office, quote unquote, because
Mhm.
there's no
I
office thing going on in there.
yeah.
It's just piles and piles of plastic and paper.
It's the I'll deal with this later room.
Yeah.
Like, so you put
Just
something in there. Oh, I'll deal with that later.
you just throw you literally. I mean, I of course not you. You wouldn't do this, but I throw things in there and then I close the door.
I know. I don't love that because I still actually use that room because I make all of our t-shirts for the Barlow Family General
What
Store. So anyway, our our printer and our heat press are in
music,
there.
knitwear, and more? Yeah.
Yes, and
Well,
so
I throw it
I
to
do use
the
that space,
left.
but it gets smaller and smaller as the
It
shit
is.
gets piled and piled in there. And um, yeah, I don't know like what to do with that room. I think it's like partly I feel like I just don't know. Oh dear, I feel a sneeze coming on. I feel a sneeze. I'm just giving you a heads up. I don't know if it's.
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's gonna
Come on.
go away. Maybe it's gonna go away. Okay.
Wow.
I think it. I think it. I think it's gone.
Mm. Wow.
Wait a minute. I
I
just
could tell you.
realized we came very, very far from your sandwich. We were having a conversation about your sand. Because I was going to say to you that you were treating your ass like a room temperature panini press.
Yeah. Hey.
You literally pressed it down, and you were like, "It's a
Well,
body panini press."
well, I felt like this was
I
important
love a
information.
panini sandwich, but
This is a hack. It's a hack, right?
what? This is
Or
okay. This is
I know that
actually not a hack. This is just a.
people aren't talking about hacks quite as much as they used to. But
I know that was a
hey,
real
life
trend
hack.
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey,
I
life
feel
hack.
like those were always really delivered with a smugness too. So I appreciate it when it's done with like a wink wink or something because man, the whole like just so you know, here's a life hack. And then you're like, well, I hate you now, so I can't even read your life hack because you're such an asshole. So
Well, they usually
so
deliver
much
the
for the life hack.
back in the day of hacks, back in the day of life hacks that were just being tossed at us willy nilly. They were
Yeah.
usually delivered in rapid succession, so you couldn't remember them anyway.
Mm.
You know, and now that they're doing ones now that are like, put orange juice and seltzer water together can clean your silver.
But they don't use the word life hack now. I think that
No, they
that's
don't.
off trend. That's what I'm saying. Is
Off
someone
trend,
figured
exactly.
out that that's like that's a no now. So you don't say life hack anymore. You say just did you know when you blah 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 or something like that. I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
sure, but so did you
Hey,
know that when you get a cold sandwich delivered to you on an Australian flight, you can
or any flight, any flight.
it's Australia because the US definitely won't be giving you a sandwich.
Not on a domestic flight. You're absolutely right. We get nothing on domestic flights anymore, and that
It's
happened
pretty
a long.
rough, I have to say.
That was a long time ago. But yes, the cold sandwich that's delivered to you right in there, right under. I mean, for me, of course, my ball sack.
Can I actually just say that I think it's interesting that you keep saying cold sandwich because to me, I would just say the sandwich because to me, a sandwich is almost always cold unless for,
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like if you say like a hot sandwich, that's like, you definitely want to say that because most sandwiches they are cold.
I hate that.
You hate a cold sandwich?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I don't like cold.
You like warm things.
I like room temperature things.
Yeah,
I kind of dread,
warmed.
like when I walk into the. I'm sure that many of my travel mates don't like this, and I'm getting hints that they don't. I'll walk into the backstage,
Hmm.
the, and I
Oh, are
will.
you taking things out of the fridge and leaving
I'll
them
just
out? Okay.
I'll just take things out of the fridge. I'm like, get the pineapple out of the fridge because eating. I mean,
Oh,
you can't taste it. It's too cold.
that's true.
When you
I
and it's like
agree.
it makes your teeth kind of hurt. It's like put the fucking
Yes.
pineapple. I mean,
Yes.
look, it's
Let it
don't put
sit.
it back. Why are you putting it back in the fridge? Because you think it's going to like decompose? And the eight and the
Yeah.
8 hour and the mere 8 hours that you were spending backstage
Do you know
during
how
the
long pineapple sits out at like a family party? All day in the sun.
getting more and more
We're
delicious,
not doctors,
but
by the
also,
way. Just you eat at your own risk in life, everyone. That's,
and you
we're
might
just
want to
we're
cut, you might want to put the cover on it to just keep the insects off of it.
I will
That's
say
fine.
this. I had for my like lunch snack thing today, I was having some carrots, broccoli, French onion dip, hummus, and then I was also having grape leaves with rice, like the the fuck
Those things
those
are always
those
always too
rolls or whatever.
too damn cold for me. That's always
Well,
disappointing. Yeah.
same. So what I did is about an hour before I wanted to eat one, I brought it out of the fridge and I just set it on the
I'm really
counter.
I'm really proud of you now
Well,
because
that's typical.
you
I like doing that.
do
I don't
you?
like those cold. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
I
think I'm
thought
like a
I thought like the whole. I feel
Have
like
we
the
ever
whole.
met?
I, I have sort of a persecution complex about this. I feel like the whole world, everybody in my world is resisting my urge to make everything room temperature and tasty.
We're
I
married.
think,
You're like, have we? I mean, you never notice that I've put things
ah,
out before we've
look,
ate them.
okay. I think what I'm thinking of is that when say we have
I
like,
let steaks come to room temperature before I cook them.
well, well, that's because a lot of people told you to do that. I think your impulse. This is what I'm
Well, you're
saying.
giving me literally no credit. Okay.
Just listen. I'm sure I have a blind spot here. I'm not really trying to defend myself, but I will say, just let me say one thing.
Okay.
I think that when something is frozen and you want to use it, just put it on the counter. Don't put it in the refrigerator because it will not fully defrost by the time you need it. And that's true. And many times you're like, well, gee, I took the chicken out of the fridge
Oh,
after I,
you're talking about me with the
yes,
frozen like salmon or chicken
yes,
or
because
whatever.
I'm just like, hey, we woke up, put the fucking salmon on the counter so you can make it for dinner and just leave it there. But I'll often put it on the counter and then you'll be like, no. And then you'll put it in the fridge because you think, oh, it's going to slowly defrost. And I'm like, it's not. It is not going to be ready to cook in 8 hours. It is going to be still partially frozen.
I think when it comes to frozen steak, chicken, yes, there is something that maybe I read somewhere or whatever that said it was like unsafe to leave those things out, like to defrost on the counter, that the safe way to defrost meat or fish was in the refrigerator. So
Yeah, for like 2 days.
okay.
For 2 days. You put it in the refrigerator 2 days before you want it.
We just want to also, again, full disclosure, you eat and you defrost things to your own risk, dear listeners. We're not experts. I think we've made that pretty clear on a few episodes here, but just stumbling through life trying to eat some salmon at 5 o'clock that's been frozen that morning. But yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm kind of like all over the place with that because like sometimes,
I think you're coming around to my way of thinking. I think you're coming
yeah,
around. I think I'm slowly wearing you down.
you're definitely wearing me down.
My
That's
my bandmate,
100%.
my
I am
coworkers,
worn down.
perhaps my coworkers are disturbed by the roast beef just sitting in our space.
Well, I think that could be also because it's a shared beef, like maybe other people don't. You could ask, is anyone else hoping to partake in this roast beef today? Would you mind if I let it sit out all day? Was
I have,
anyone else hoping for a slice of this delicious roast beef?
I
Have you ever
probably
wrapped
should.
a piece of the pineapple in the roast beef? I bet that'd be
Of
good.
course, I've done that. Oh my God.
Okay. That
Oh,
I just had that
oh,
realization. I was like, oh, I bet that'd be yummy.
oh,
Roast beef and
absolutely.
pineapple.
A room temperature juicy pineapple. Because when it gets
Mm.
room temperature, it gets juicier, of course. And then,
Yes. Yes.
so yes, you wrap the That's like a
Oof.
delicate. That's a
That's like
delicacy.
dessert. That's yum.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
delicacy. That I kind of
Mm.
forget to do it often because I just am so hungry by the. If I know that there's a rider in my future, I will
And the
often go.
rider is food that's a backstage at the shows for
It's
the
rockin'.
bands.
Hey, rock and roll talk here. Rock and roll
Yeah.
talk. I'm a rock and roller.
Insider rocker talk.
I'm a rocker. I'm a rocker.
Yep. The rider is the food that the club presents you with on the counter, which you have specified your wants, right? Actually, they don't just randomly put food there.
Oh
It's
no,
what
we
you've
we've got
asked for.
we've got the same array. The same. I think I've used the word array several times in the last 26 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But
I love
you mean you guys have the same
array.
thing because you've asked for it though. I'm
It's
saying that
on
that
our rider.
right, it's Dinosaur Jr.'s rider, which is like your wishes for the
These
backstage
these are our
snacks.
wishes.
Right.
They
And
have
sometimes they can't always be fulfilled. That's just depending on
sometimes not
location, where the club is, access to
proximity
right,
proximity to a Whole Foods when we're
right,
in the
right.
United States.
Or some sort of like co-op. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe I should. Sometime when everyone's in the backstage, I should just sort of stand up and address them all and say, everyone, I want to make. I think it would be prudent and sensitive of me to address this. By show of hands, who is annoyed by what I do?
Hands go up immediately. What?
Who is annoyed by what I do immediately upon entering the dressing room, which is take out all of the what do you call spoilable materials, all of
Hmm.
the and just put them all all out. I cover every available inch of space in the dressing room with food.
The cheese
There,
and roast beef.
yep, the cheese definitely, with the purpose of all of these things coming to room temperature.
Maybe you need to leave a little post-it note on them so they know what you're doing. Maybe they think that you're actually like really absent-minded and they go, "Oh, Lou just like pulls all this shit out of the fridge and then dumps it all over the backstage and then forgets about it." Maybe they think you're forgetful.
They could be like they could actually be harboring some serious resentment towards me about this.
Yeah, they could be like, "Great, another 2 weeks with Lou where he's like rotting all of our food
They might even, you know what? They're probably talking behind my back about it.
right now."
That makes me feel sad and shamed. But you know
Well,
what? I
I
think
think
that
there's a way to amend it, which I I love you, but I don't think the way that you phrased it as your example is the way to go. I
what do
would
you mean?
instead just say, "Hey guys, we're all here. Yeah. So, would anyone be okay if I took this roast beef, the pineapple, and the cheese out and let it come to room temperature today? Would that be okay? Or does anyone have an issue with that? Or should I pull what I'm hoping to be my allotment of said roast beef, cheese, and pineapple and maybe put it in a plate, put it on a plate, and then I let my plate come to room temperature?"
Is anyone interested in the roast beef? Because I don't give a shit about the turkey. You
Okay.
know, the turkey's yours. It stays in the fridge. Turkey is so mid, so deeply mid, so deeply mid. Even at room temperature, it tastes like nothing.
Well, no, it tastes like paper to me.
Yeah, sure. Toilet paper.
Roast turkey. Oh my gosh. Have we talked long enough? I think you should try out the permission. I think you should try out the ask next time in the dressing room.
You know, well, this is something that I've been thinking about.
You
You
could
know,
really be yucking their yum,
as I am growing spiritually, as I
becoming
am
more spiritually enlightened. Yes.
becoming more mindful,
Uh-huh. Tell me more.
I am slowly uncovering vestiges of my assholeness. And I'm like, oh, and it always hurts a little bit. And I always like, oh, want it trigger some sort of backslide into to self-esteem issues and begin, let it sort of snowball into like me really feeling terrible about myself and really indulging in some real hardcore self-pity. But what I'm doing now is when I uncover these vestiges of my self-involvement, my obliviousness, or even I hate to say it, my entitlement. Because in some way, I feel entitled to fucking throw that meat on the counter and put the cheese on the counter because I'm in the band.
Oh, wow.
Ouch, right?
You asshole. You.
What a
wow.
dick. What a fuck.
What a dick.
Oh, I mean, what do I have to do? These other guys who maybe absolutely prefer refrigerated food. Because
it's really interesting. Yeah.
Refrigeration is a cornerstone of civilization. Sure. A cornerstone of our civilization, refrigeration. This is something that has changed our lives and made living longer possible. Refrigeration. I am like trying to throw everybody back into the Paleo Stone Ages by throwing all this shit out there.
Because you're in the band.
When it comes to the writer, and hopefully only the writer, hopefully in other ways I'm not this way but when it comes to the writer, I am definitely skewing towards insensitivity. And maybe once I get that sorted, I will be perfect. I will be
all done. Yeah.
All done.
All done. Well,
yep. I'm not lifting anything. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to lift.
You can't.
I can't.
You're too aged and
absolutely not. No, we'll let our we'll let our 68-year-old sound man do that. No.
Well, no, that's just smart because you won't be able to perform for the people.
That's right.
Everything matters in the chain. It's just
look.
Hey,
you want to see me dance tonight? I mean, I know that I want to see me dance tonight. I want to feel me dance tonight. But hey, it's going to take a little bit of room temperature food.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying maybe you separate your needed allotment and then you put it on a big plate and then you write like a little Sharpie on it, lose food. And then you could even go so far to say, don't worry, the rest is in the fridge where y'all like it.
If they do, we haven't even discussed this yet.
Well, maybe you need to sit down and have a little honest chat about refrigeration, and I encourage you to do it without shaming. Like, hey, if you don't like flavorless food,
I could, honest to fucking God, I could talk about this for another hour.
I know.
And maybe we should.
Let's break this down. I can't because I have to go it's Taco Tuesday and I got to go make tacos for me and Izzy. I'm making the meatless crumbles, which we like. I'm going to see if she notices.
It's really good. It's nice to know that those little rubber bandish brown things are not coming from an animal.
Yeah. I don't know what they come from, but I eat
a lot of animal, but
yeah, it's good to take a break.
Animals and just sort of almost tasteless little rubber band balls. That's depressing.
I hear ya. I prefer the meatless crumbles for tacos. I'm a fan. Yeah, and I got to get going. Play me out, baby.
I can only play 4 strings.
Can you sing to me? Sing the song.
Oh, God. Give me all your raw impressions. Oh, give me all your raw impressions. Your thoughts, your words, your time.
Raw impressions.